Hello, you're listening to Questboard, a podcast where we make up random side quests. My name is Brandon.
And I'm Tiffany. Just so you know, we are not professional writers in any way, shape, or form. At least we don't claim to be. We just like tabletop RPGs, and we do this for fun.
That's right. How are you, Tiffany?
I am really stuffed up from allergies. So, side note to those of you listening, if my P's suddenly become B's, you know why.
I'm just so glad that my allergy season is over.
And mine has just begun.
I'm stuck with pollen allergies.
Mine, I don't know what I'm allergic to. It's possibly something that's blooming now instead of whatever you're allergic to, which bloomed earlier.
Actually, yeah, there's different seasons for pollen and all that stuff.
Yep.
Or it could be a grass allergy.
Oh, I am allergic to grass. I know that much.
It might be where grass starts pollinating. I don't know. I'm no expert. We never claim to be experts in anything.
Nope. I'm an expert at being me. That's about it.
I'm not even good at that.
Of course
I
you're not
can't
good
be
at being
myself.
Me.
Oh, that's what you took it as.
Oh.
I'm like, I can't even be me.
Anyway.
So yeah, we are doing another episode of Monster Spotlight.
Woo.
That's what we called it, yes.
Yes, it's Spotlight on a Monster.
We actually made some changes because we learned from mistakes, hiccups.
That wasn't a mistake. We just learned from our past that
we need to actually make it better, or streamline the actual selection process better.
I made a list.
Tiffany was bored.
It's really big.
That's what she said. But anyways, so Tiffany has made a lovely list on her own free will. I didn't make her, I swear. Of listing every possible monster in the monster manual.
Specifically just the monster manual of Dungeons & Dragons 5e. I do have possible plans of branching out to other monster manuals for other campaign systems. I just don't have them.
And I will feel guilty about giving you 3 books for Pathfinder 2nd edition I have.
That's daunting at best.
I actually have a website though, so.
Oh, okay.
It's a little bit more complex than the website we use for our D&D 5e monsters. Yeah. But yeah, so we are trying again, and we're hopefully going to make a good quest out of this, and it'll be a easier selection process.
Yeah.
So, Tiffy, you're in charge. Tell me
Brandon,
what to do.
Do you have dice?
Yes, but what do I need?
Start with a D4, because we actually have 2 separate D100 lists to choose from.
Okay, so cut in half?
Yeah.
2.
Okay, so that's still the first list. Now roll me a D100.
Oh, sorry. I rolled a 4, so 2.
Oh, so then that's the second list. Tell me the actual number next time.
Okay, fine.
1 and 2 is the first list. 3 and 4 is the second list. So we're on the second list. Give me that D100 roll.
65.
65. Cool. That is not one of the ones that has another chart to roll from, because there are some like that. So this is a stirge found on page 284 in the Monster Manual. And while Brandon flips to that page, I'm going to look it up on the internet because I don't have the book.
Oh my god, that thing's hideous.
What's it look like?
It's a tiny beast.
Oh my gosh, that's hideous.
That's what I said. Stirge. This horrid flying creature looks like a cross between a large bat and an oversized mosquito.
That's putting it lightly.
I wouldn't say mosquito. Yeah, the mouth kind of thing, but I don't see mosquito.
It looks like flayed human flesh.
Yeah, have you seen that episode of Doctor Who where it's that last living human?
Actually, yes.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that.
Oh, I haven't seen
for,
the episode. I've just seen
it
that.
actually has a head and hair.
Yeah. Ugh.
Its leg end in sharp pincers, and its long needle-like proboscis slashes the air as it seeks its next meal.
Proboscis
It has a proboscis.
Proboscis or proboscis?
Proboscis.
Proboscis.
What's the difference?
Proboscis isn't a word.
I thought that's what you called the whole thing for butterflies and.
That's a proboscis.
Oh, I thought they were called proboscis.
Oh, no, it's got no in it.
Sturges feed on the blood of living creatures, like a mosquito,
Okay, there's
attaching and draining them slowly. Side note, this is a tiny beast, so
yes.
I was picturing something bigger.
That's just
Although they pose little danger in small numbers, packs of sturges can be a formidable threat, reattaching as quickly as their weakened prey can pluck them off.
Ooh.
Blood drain. A sturges attacks by landing on the victim, finding a vulnerable spot, and plunging it proboscis into the flesh, while using its pincer's leg to latch onto the victim. Once the sturges has sedated itself, it detaches and flies off to digest its meal.
You mean sated, not sedated.
Once the sturgis has sated itself,
There you
it
go.
detaches and flies off to digest its meal.
Yeah.
It's a challenging 1/8.
1/8. Yep. The stat block I'm looking at says it drains 10 HP, then it detaches and flies away. But still, if you have a whole swarm of these, each of them taking 10 HP, that's a lot.
Yeah, we could easily make this a impending doom or incoming wave where it's a seasonal thing, like the locust swarms that's in like Midwest America, where they know when those seasons are happening,
right?
And then they just come in droves and like kills a lot of farm plants.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if it's a town that's like knows that the season's coming up?
The season of the sturge.
The sturge season. That sounds like a fishing season.
Yeah, it's just 1 letter away from being, or no, 2 letters away from being a sturgeon.
I'm surprised you know those.
I know about fish.
Those things are huge. Have you seen Tangent?
I haven't seen one in person, but I have seen how big they can get, yes.
Oh, like, because I've seen like news reporting about how like poachers for sturgeons, sorry, how it's illegal and all that stuff, and people, because it takes so long for them to actually get to those sizes.
Gotcha.
And actually reproduce, so that it creates a threat to like their population.
Right. Actually, maybe I have seen one in real life, like at a zoo or an aquarium, I think. But yeah.
I've actually never seen one in real life.
If that was a sturgeon, that thing was big. Anyway, sturges, which are not big, but tend to swarm. So we're going to go with a swarm of sturges.
I think it'll be like, could be a thing where the players get to devise a defense or whatever for the town. Maybe it's a small town.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was a dungeon master, I would do it where like, oh yeah, they're coming in, and depending on how they plan or anything like that, like if there was a small fight, you just not have the entire swarm in the fight, but just like toss 5 of them in there.
Right.
And
just to give them a taste.
And then they're like slowly landing on you, but then you could actually attack them and all this and that to kill them, because they only have 2 health.
Right. They are, or 1d4, but still, that's like 1 hit from a higher level player. So this could be an early game thing.
But then what kind of twist would we have? Because we could just have this as simple. Oh, it's Sturgis season. They're like coming out of their hibernation.
Maybe it's not a season. Maybe a swarm of sturges were spotted nearby, or somebody found 1 sturge, and when you find 1, there's more. So they get to the town, which is like battening down the hatches. They're closing up every door, closing all the shutters, like literally battening down the hatches. And they walk in, they're like, hey, what's going on? They're like, sturges, they're nearby, we gotta hide, until they leave.
What kind of voice was that?
I don't know. Don't expect me to do fun voices today.
Okay, how about if it was a off season, and they're not supposed to, but then they start coming in small waves or droves.
Okay.
And the party then either like helps out and then has to investigate what's causing them to like sprout out or unhibernate in the off season.
Yeah, because they are beasts, so they're something that could be naturally occurring. They're not like a fiend or devil or something.
What happens if, because it doesn't have a lot of lore in this book, but let's say that it's like during the peak summer times, like hottest season.
Okay.
And the players are currently in the winter. And so this is completely out of the ordinary. They didn't expect it. So it was like a surprise for the village.
Right.
So they were ill prepared, and that's how the players initially help and all that stuff. And then the players could investigate it, in which it could be where they naturally nest, which we could determine because we could create the lore here for this.
Right.
But what happens if, like, in their nesting area, like fire elementals, demons, or something that's hot, that's like heating up that area, then causing them to naturally think it's the hottest season?
Maybe
that causes them to unhibernate sooner than expected, and then go its natural instinct path of and just go feed.
Kill people. Or, feed on people. They don't necessarily kill. They only take 10 HP and then leave.
It's kill people, death by 1,000 cuts here.
Yeah, that is true. There's
also commoners.
Probably a lot of them.
Probably have less than 10 hit points.
This is true. So these are very deadly to them. What if, like, a steam vent opened up, like a new volcano is starting to form.
Oh, I thought you were talking steampunk because you are you.
I am me.
I thought initially when you said steam vent, I'm like, why would they install a steam vent underneath that? I'm
Not
like,
that kind of
then
vent.
you're like,
I'm talking normal seismic activity here.
yeah, now I get it. But you really like steampunk, and I know that, so that was where I first went.
Well, thanks for remembering that about me, but that's not what I'm talking about.
How does steam vents naturally occur?
The Earth's crust is constantly shifting, so a new weak spot will form, and the magma below the surface is constantly trying to find new weak spots. So,
And that's called a steam vent?
yeah.
It could be that. But then what? The party needs to plug up that to lower the temperature?
No, they just need to kill all the stirges.
Well, I was thinking like if it was intentionally caused or like caused by an outside source that's not natural, then the party could just eliminate that and then restore the natural order of things.
Yeah, I know, but this monster spotlight's supposed to be spotlighting the stirge, not whatever causes the stirge to wake up.
I mean, to be fair, our last one was focusing on a white dragon wormling, and we made it about poachers.
Yes, but that's not a monster, that's a person.
But poachers are like have a stat block.
That's true, but they aren't on my list.
You know what I'm talking about here.
I know, but I don't want to focus on something else that could possibly show up on the list later.
Okay, do you want we could homebrew this? What happens if a sturge nests act like somewhat like a bee's nest where there's a queen bee or a queen sturge
The queen sturge.
that actually gives birth to lays the eggs for sturges.
Yeah.
And so then they have to kill the queen sturge, so you have to make it really harder.
You could just up the stat block a little bit.
Or make it useless and being in heart of the swarm
Hard to get to.
Hard to get to and all that stuff. Do sheer number.
Yeah, I could just have the same stats as all the other ones, just be a
No,
little different looking.
no stats at all. It's just it's so bulbous big because it has to give birth a bunch of times.
And so it can't even fly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know, in a beehive, a queen bee can't fly, but if the hive wants to move, they'll pester the queen bee to make her lose weight so that she can fly.
Or you could think of this as like a queen ant as well.
Yeah.
Because those are abnormally big and all
They
that
are.
stuff.
Okay, it could be something like that. They just got to go find the queen and take it out. Maybe they never actually find out why this nest decided to unhibernate. Is that a word?
Well, if we want to focus on that, we could say it's that season or the beginning of the season then.
True. It could be that season. It could be a different thing. The DM can throw in whatever they want, honestly. So it could be, the season of the sturge, or it's off season and they want to put something harder in there because maybe they have a stronger party. So if they do want to throw something in there that's warming things up, like they found this nice comfy cave to hang out in.
Cage.
Yeah. And it just, starts sleeping in there. But it's something the sturges can't feed off of. It's got to be something that they can't feed off of because otherwise they'd just kill it.
True, but if it's in a thing that's below, let's say a cave, there's cave system where it's mouth of cave leads down to maybe 15 feet below, right?
Yeah.
But then there'll be another cave that entrance is 100 feet away that goes deeper and they will never intersect underground.
That is true.
So then the some hellish beast or something like that goes into the deeper one and sleeps right beneath it, and so then the heat goes up through the rock and then slowly heats up above it in the cave where the sturges live.
That can totally happen, and we can just let the DM pick which hell beast it's going to be.
Yeah, that's if you want an
best fit their
outside
party.
source.
Yeah.
But if it's, to be fair, if we have the players go through a sturge nest, which thousands upon thousands or whatever,
Yeah.
that still requires a high level party because death by 1,000 cuts.
Yes, that is going to be a lot.
Side note, I always like to do the homebrew thing as a DM. If it's considered a swarm, any area of effect doubles the damage. Because if you think about it, I just like to make them vulnerable. If the spell takes up more than 2 slots, then they take double the amount of damage.
Yeah, I can see that.
If you want to add that to your game.
Just call it the Brandon rule.
Sure. Name that homebrew rule after me.
Then all of your players can be like, thanks, Brandon.
They're so much easier to kill now. No, call it the
Yay.
quest board rule so we can actually get some
Oh, there you go.
traffic to our podcast.
It's the quest board rule. Area of effect does twice as much damage because you're hitting more than one of them
on swarms.
on swarms.
Or swarms have vulnerability to area effect damage.
Yeah, something like that. And since these guys do technically have 2 hit points instead of some other swarming things which only have 1 hit point, maybe they're resistant to mundane attacks.
That would be a little bit harder. Well, to be fair, like Swarm of Rats.
Yeah.
Their damage is actually proportioned to their hit points, which their hit points is like 24. But that represents like the actual amount of rats that's in that swarm.
Right.
Which I'm sure you could theoretically possibly homebrew convert like a stirge thing to a swarm of stirges and
Most
do
likely.
that kind of hit point thing.
That is true.
But I think for like, I don't know, I imagine the fight would be better if you had the map out and you had the players and then you just slowly like add stirges at the like edge of the map. As things are dying, you just slowly add more to add representation of like a swarm without actually having the swarm.
Right. You just keep bringing more in.
Yeah, because I think that's more fair.
It's also more terrifying.
More terrifying. That's like endless. It keeps like they keep like joining in on a fight and it becomes longer and longer.
They just gotta defend the point.
Sort of. Possibly like, hey, you need to move in this map forward while I'm slowly just putting things in.
Oh, they're trying to go into the cave to get to the queen?
Yeah, that's the goal, right?
There
if
you
we're
go.
doing the queen thing. Because if we do the other thing, the hellish beast, that's a simple of like investigate, see how warm it is, and discover, like figure out that the beast
Right.
was there and then take care of it.
So it's either you take care of the beast and the stirges go back to sleep, or you just fight off all of these stirges.
You know, I realize we're going a parallel path here. We need to pick a lane.
I know. I'm
So-
okay with it just being stirge season.
Okay.
That 10 times fast. Wow. Stirge season. Stirge season.
Dog season, stirge season.
What if we made the cave unique terrain? Like, what if the stirges turned the entire cave into their hive? So there's like stuff dripping down the sides, or there's difficult terrain to walk over.
We're really homebrewing this.
Oh,
we
yeah.
don't have that much, which is
There's
great.
not, we have a page.
It's not even a page.
Oh,
It's this.
I thought the other half was that. No.
This is the start of Succubus and Incubus.
Oh, wow. They get a lot more.
Yeah. So like we got a lot of free reign here. But I would like to say it's all homebrew because
yes.
we're coming up with this on the spot.
Yeah. My bestiary page just gives me the stat block. I get no other information about these guys. It doesn't even have the picture, which is hideous. Oh my gosh. These things are flesh colored. Like, I guess you'd say that human flesh is various different colors. This is like pasty white human flesh color.
What happens if their eggs are like the eggs from the Alien movie?
They explode.
Well, no, it's like
do?
it's the opening up like a flower on
Yeah.
the top, and then the face grabbers crawl out of
They
them.
do kind of look like the face huggers without the long tail.
Or, but we already made the face huckers in Quest Over.
Oh, yeah, we did.
It was to eat the eyeballs.
Ugh.
That was a good episode.
It was great because it's terrifying.
Well, that was the point of us making that. But what happens if it's just like that lined up with eggs, and then like during the season, that's when they start like doing the flower bloom, and then
What if any damage done to an egg causes it to open and a new stirge gets added? So anytime a character is like bumps into a wall or misses something and hits the wall, like any attack
Possibly.
that misses is gonna hit a wall in that cave.
I was kind of thinking like when we were talking about caves as a way to justify in my head of like, oh, this is why it comes in waves over like the surrounding villages and all that stuff.
Mhm.
You would think like underground is nice and cool, right?
Yeah.
In a cave system. So the warmness of the summer would start at the mouth, which like a section at the mouth or closest to the mouth would hatch because they get to the temperature, and then goes in section by section as it goes deeper into the cave as it slowly warms up
That makes
because of
sense.
summer. And that allows a justification of multiple drones of waves of these things.
Okay, I'm with you on that.
Do they? Oh, perfect. They have dark vision.
They do.
What happens if when the party goes down, it's going to be completely dark? If they rely on fire to see,
Yes.
that will slowly cause like things to wake up because the temperature is rising.
Yeah, that would definitely warm up the surroundings.
Or if anyone uses fire magic.
fire magic for sure would definitely.
And you don't tell
wake
the
them up.
players this.
Not in the slightest. They don't have any vulnerabilities, but they also aren't immune to anything either. So They're not like vulnerable to fire. It just wakes them up.
No, it just heats up the environment, and that's what causes them to wake up.
So here's the fun part. What if your party goes in with something like dancing lights?
Dancing lights doesn't produce heat.
None.
No, that's their workaround.
Okay. Then they just go in, stab the queen, and leave.
Well, no, I would say when the party investigates, that's when conveniently the next section wakes up
Well,
due to the heat.
having that many warm-blooded bodies in the cave could start to warm it up.
If it's a tiny cave, maybe.
Yeah.
But I would disagree on that one.
Okay. It was a thought. So here's another fun thought. If
They
someone
set up a LAN party in the cave, those computers, they will heat those things up.
if someone in your party primarily uses fire or constantly puts off heat because of the type of race they are, give them this quest.
Man, my pyromancer sorcerer.
Yeah,
would
no, he
do
would have set them
horrible.
all off so fast.
But then he wouldn't care.
No, he'd be walking around using his produce flame to light a cigarette, and the egg next to him would just go whee
And then he sets up his mantle of flame and then,
and sets the whole cave off.
yeah, that'll be funny.
That would be hilarious. Anyway, so this is definitely something to throw at your party if they use fire to see or use fire a lot.
Yeah, torches
That would make it more fun.
or anything like that, yes.
If they use
But
like
it will be a
dancing lights
guarantee.
or they all have dark vision, then it's not as cut and dry.
But it will be a guarantee they will fight a wave of them
Oh yes.
because it's the plot trigger. There
Yes.
is a trigger point. It will
Yes.
do that so that it's like environmental storytelling. When they first go into the cave, let's say they help out on like wave 3 or something like that. That means like a decent section of the first beginning cave, there could be just open eggs.
Ooh, yeah.
And then they'll hit a section that's not open.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they like cross that threshold, then that's when the party starts hearing, and that's environmental storytelling of explaining all the openings that they saw before.
I like it. I like it a lot.
And then they understand it's like, oh, they're opening it up by section.
On their way walking towards the cave, what if they find drained animals? These things are sucking your blood. So what if they find a bunch of smaller animals?
Oh,
that
you
have
mean
been-
like from the village to the cave?
Yeah.
To the nest?
Yeah, just this
Oh.
path of destruction.
Yeah. You could easily be like, there's a random farm. Every
Mhm.
cow is
Oh.
drained and all that stuff.
Not the poor cows.
It's a common thing.
It is a common thing.
You
But-
just see skeletal, like dehydrated cows. And
Yeah,
all
no,
that
they're
stuff.
just completely sucked dry like a mummy.
It's like the chupacabra had a go at them,
Yeah.
but not goats. Or
It
Goats
could be
as well.
goats. And then they could be thinking it's a chupacabra, but really it's sturges. Well, they already know.
no.
The
The
town knows.
the start of it is them helping a town being attacked by sturges.
Yeah, it's true.
They're gonna know about it,
Yeah,
and they're gonna see it like happen to people because you
Ooh.
gotta like show the importance.
right. And if they get there in time, maybe the people won't die, but they will definitely be very anemic.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Ooh, I have one more thing.
Yeah.
What does a sturge bite look like?
Well, they're tiny, so it's like I imagine it's like a bug bite where they puncture in.
Yeah, because they've got a proboscis.
Whatever that is. Yes. But what, like, I imagine because the picture in the book makes it look so much bigger than it really is.
Well,
Because
yeah,
I
they
know it's
blew
a
it up.
tiny beast.
Yeah.
So I imagine like bigger than obviously a mosquito.
Okay.
But I don't know. Okay, anyone who's afraid of needles, I'm sorry. Imagine like the biggest needle you could think of.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
I'm thinking like that.
Okay, that's gonna hurt.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. That explains the 5 damage too.
yes.
But that's sucking your blood as well.
Well, that's like big enough needle that's actually like transferring that much blood.
Mm-hmm. And I've had my blood drawn. I know what it feels like to not have enough because I found out then that I should never have my blood drawn like that or donate blood.
I've only had my blood drawn once
Yeah.
for a doctor, and they're like, oh, we need a baseline because you've never done it before. And I was like 28.
Oh. Well, I mean, I've had my blood drawn at the doctor's, but I meant like donating blood. I've done that once, and that's when I found out I shouldn't do that anymore because I got so badly lightheaded after that.
Oh, God.
It was not good. I don't have enough blood.
I don't know how you combat that. Is that a condition? If you don't want
Anemia.
to talk about this medical thing.
No,
I
no,
don't.
it's anemia. It's a common thing. I'm
Okay.
anemic. I don't have enough blood to give, but unfortunately, I have a blood type that I should be giving.
Isn't it ironic?
I know, right? It's not the most rare one, but it's the next.
Anyways, tangent over.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add? Because I think we did a decent job of just homebrewing a lot of things about a sturge.
Yeah, they don't give us much information, so really it's however you want to fold it into your story to make it fit, make it terrifying.
I think
These things are awful sounding.
I think it's actually a nice story of just like for world building where there is seasons of just sturge swarms.
Yeah.
They go out and all that stuff, and they just have to deal with it. And you can make that a common occurring thing where even if the party kills that one queen, there's still others out there. You didn't extinct the entire race.
Right. Maybe they have towers set up around the town to keep an eye out for these swarms.
Well, that's why it's if they go based off seasons, they know when they're going to be showing up, and they just become accustomed to it.
I was thinking the people who watch in the towers could be called like sturge wardens or something cool like that.
I'm sure there's other problems as well. In the fantasy world, there's
plenty
so many problems
but
to be watched
out for.
This
town deals with sturges, and they suck.
I'm suggesting possibly having this just a common occurrence thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just this town or the city that's being bothered.
Gotcha.
It's an entire regional thing.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I think that'll be a nice twist to add to just like that region or that kingdom or anything like that.
Right. And actually, as the party is traveling around that kingdom, they could run into maybe smaller swarms of sturges or just, regular swarms every now and then. Just traveling down the road. Look, a sturge. Uh-oh, a sturge.
And that, like, during the summer season or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think that will be a nice additive to your world building. It's very simple in the case of, help out town. That's when you get introduced to them. Then possibly go find the queen and hopefully kill off the queen. But then that would just be a long-term thing because then all the all the eggs that already been laid, they're going to slowly start hatching unless they take care of it there. But then that will cause them to possibly have to deal with a ton of them.
Yeah. And with swarming creatures like this, if they're similar to ants or anything like that, they can create a new queen if theirs is gone.
Yes. But we could set it up where once the queen is dead, then
that swarm dies.
I'm
okay.
The colony dies.
Yeah.
Because these things are very evil and all that stuff.
They're unaligned.
Yes, I know what you mean, but like evil for like the good people of this kingdom.
Yeah, they protected that one town, but then there's another town over yonder that has another swarm next to them.
Yes. And I think this was a pretty good one.
No, I like it.
Hi. While editing this episode, I did notice that we never actually made up a poster for this quest like we do with all the other ones, or to keep it on brand. And so I talked to Tiffany, and we came up with a poster in which it would be for the party either entering the region or just noticing that they're appearing at the start of sturgeon season, warning the populace that sturgeon season is coming, and just to keep an eye out and stay safe. I would suggest, hey, if you want to have any suggestions, but we're going straight from the book, so we don't really need suggestions for Monster Spotlight.
No, but I mean, if you have a favorite monster that you want us to cover.
Actually, I think if you have a suggestion of other like tabletop RPG systems that have good like monster stat blocks that we could possibly make things out of, I would love to hear those. And you can let us know on one of our 2 social medias, either on Twitter at QuestBoardPod, or if you are listening to this on YouTube, then you could say something down in the comments section. And I think with that, I wish you all a good night.
And happy questing.